Thank you, Gwen. It is an honor and privilege to serve as this year's dinner chair. Every year at this dinner, I am proud and grateful for the fearless and critical work that CPJ does around the world to try to make journalism a little bit safer for people in very unsafe places. And every year at this dinner, I'm inspired by the enormously courageous, difficult endeavors of the honorees and the people who work with them to try to present the truth, to try to speak truth to power in places in which you do not have anything like the kind of protections that we take for granted here and in many other places in the world. This is not a question of democracy. It's not a question of totalitarianism, because some of the worst offenders in this world today in terms of harassing, threatening, jailing, and murdering journalists are functioning democracies. There was a reason that before the 13 colonies were prepared to adopt the Constitution, they wanted assurances that there would be a Bill of Rights, because they knew that even though the Constitution is drafted, provided for a democratic government, without the protections in the Bill of Rights, we could not have the rule of law that could guarantee the protection of our most fundamental freedoms. And the First Amendment to the Constitution, in addition to protecting freedom of religion and other important freedoms, expressly protected the freedom of the press. Because as our founders understood, and as we know today, without a free press, we can have no guarantees of our freedoms. Without a free press, we can have no guarantee of justice. And yet, just as the free press is critical to justice, so is justice critical to a free press. Of the 661 known reported murders of journalists in the last 20 years, fewer than 10% of the perpetrators have been brought to justice. When journalists can be harassed, threatened, murdered, without the rule of law being enforced, it sends a chilling message not only to other journalists, but to everyone in that society. Because unless the press is free, no one can continue to enjoy their freedoms and safety. And very few of us, certainly very few lawyers, probably more of you in the audience, but I think probably very few of us in any profession, have the enormous courage and dedication, commitment to do what our honorees do. I know I could not do what they do routinely in terms of facing death threats in prison, attacks, torture. But what we can do is to support them, and to support them in a way that helps tell their story, that helps put the spotlight of attention on the abuses that they are subject to. Because every nation, no matter how repressive in today's world, is responsive, must be responsive to some extent to public pressure and to the public scrutiny that journalists outside of those areas and all of us in society can give to those abuses. Because only by doing that, only can we provide a modicum of the support that these people deserve for the enormous contribution that they make to trying to make this world a better and a more just place. And so I am always proud and grateful. I am always inspired. But this year I am particularly pleased and honored that I get a chance to express that publicly, because there is no night of the year that is more inspiring than to listen to the stories of people like the honorees that you'll hear tonight, and what they sacrifice to make the accomplishments that they do, and what they do to make our lives safer and freer. Thank you very much.